Looking back over more than 10 years of Crimewatch, presenting the programme is truly worthwhile when it's instrumental in putting a stop to an appalling crime, where several victims have already suffered and more would certainly have followed. When someone who's a real threat to public safety is caught and prevented from damaging any more lives. The subject of tonight's Crimewatch file is one of those cases, where information from viewers resulted in taking a very dangerous man out of circulation. It's hard to describe how much it means to his victims to be able to start picking up the pieces of their lives, sure in the knowledge that they will never encounter him again. Police believe there are other victims who they'll probably never get to know about, but they too can draw the same comfort from tonight's story. The crime viewers were asked to help solve took place in April 1993.
I'm afraid I've just had word the kitchen closes in 15 minutes. If you know what you'd like. Oh, thank you. Bye-bye. It's all right. I'll come back in a minute.
The tape again failed to operate properly, this time getting caught round one of the horses and then a jockey's neck. The starter again raised the red flag, which this time failed to unfurl.
A few of us are talking about going out later. Fancy coming?
Oh, I'm saving, you know?
Thailand?
Yeah. I just hope that a year of scrimping's worth 2 weeks in the sun.
SNS was first past the post of the National, it never was. It took only a few moments for jockey John White to realise the horrible...
No.
Bye.
One, two, three, four.
25. Not bad, guys. Actually, you ought to thank me. A lot of that was from my Americans.
Yeah. So why don't you come and spend it with us?
I can't. I'm going to catch my last bus. Bye.
Bye. See ya.
Wimbledon station, this is Wimbledon station. All change, please. All change. This train terminates here. All change, please.
Yeah, hi. Can I have the number of the station cars, please?
Put the phone down. Keep quiet or I'll kill you.
I was just in complete shock that horrible thoughts were going through my head and I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know if I was going to be alive. I didn't know what he wanted me to do. I had to try and fix my mind on something else to make myself forget about what was happening.
Emma's ordeal was to last nearly 2 hours.
So we put a team on him, 24 hours, sitting outside his HA in Billy's oldie. And what does he do? He gets his brief to come out and knock on the car window. Excuse me, officer.
Bit quieter now, Ellen.
Yeah, thank God. Hey, Bev, tell Andy his prison. What's the saying?
I heard. 16.
So, what happened?
His brief.
I felt that as soon as I was out in the car park, I would be fine. Still thought that he would come up to me from behind or would be waiting at the bottom of the stairs. It was just all completely unreal, and I knew that All I wanted to do was just to get home and just feel safe at home.
Police Wimbledon. Yeah, I got all that. And who's the victim of the attack?
It's my daughter. She's been raped.
God. It's all right, darling. It's all right.
So what do we do now?
I was so scared, Mum.
No, she
I
hasn't.
didn't know when it would be over. And after he finished and he'd tied me up, he put this old car battery on me, weighing me down.
I don't know. Somewhere in Wimbledon. In a car park, nearest Sainsbury's.
Hello?
Sorry, boss. Sandy Palmer here. I'm on night duty. I thought I ought to tell you, we've had a report of a rape.
What time is it?
3:30, sir. It's only just been reported. A victim is 19. She was on her way home from work. There's some uniformed lads with her now.
Where did it happen?
We're still trying to find the scene. When we do, we'll secure it.
Who have we got to interview the girl?
Yeah, luckily Beverly's in. She's here now.
Okay. Get the victim to the suite. I'll be in shortly.
OK, boss.
A male, about 50 years of age, 6 feet or thereabouts, short grey hair, wearing three-quarter length coat, blue baseball cap, Dennis jeans.
Still a Mike from 619. With regards to Sainsbury's, I think we've got a positive of it.
His character changed. Just like that, you know? 1 minute he was normal, and then he was the most evil person you ever heard. When he took his jeans off, I didn't tell you this bit, Mum, it's pathetic. He had stockings on and suspenders and knickers. It was like he put them on deliberately to scare me, you know? Oh, he had this huge scar. He looked new, like a recent operation or a bad one. It's all right. You're doing well. It's important now to get as much of a description as possible. What else about him? Oh, he was shaved. All his pubic hair. He mentioned prostitutes, that he didn't like them. He had a knife all the time. Kept telling me to keep my head down. Kept saying he was going to kill me. I knew I had to keep him calm. When someone came nearby, he put the knife in my mouth. I really think he wanted to kill me. It's all right. It's okay.
Obviously, I spent some time with Emma, and I found that she, perhaps more than victims I had dealt with in the past, managed to compose herself reasonably well and go through every little detail that I needed. I have never taken a statement from a victim which involved, how can I describe it? The ordeal was really awful, and the things that she was made to do were horrendous and made me feel quite sick.
That'll be the doctor. Are you okay? Yeah. It's all right.
All right, chaps.
Hello, Andy.
How's it going?
It's going okay.
Don't think he'll have much luck. She says he kept his gloves on a lot of the time.
Oh, right.
Battery acid. Spilt when I got up.
I put something on it.
Yeah. Yeah. She said that. I've got a very good description and enough details of the offence.
Good.
She was raped 3 times.
How is she now?
She's holding up very well.
OK.
I think she's in shock.
Any chance of DNA?
It was definitely the worst case of rape I'd ever come across. It was really violent. It had lasted over an hour and a half, a very long time. And during that time, her attacker had thoroughly demeaned and humiliated her. It was obvious, though, that she was going to be a really strong and good witness. She was a very clever person, very intelligent, which is important to us because from the outset it didn't really appear that we had very much physical evidence from the scene. We were obviously hopeful for witnesses, but we had none to start with, and we were hopeful for DNA, but obviously that was going to take some time before we knew the answer to that. So the first priority obviously was to assemble a team.
What sort of sick bastard was he anyway to do this sort of thing?
Yeah. Poor girl, what she must have gone through. It's just up there thinking
I mean,
about.
just unfortunate she just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, I mean, what was he doing at the bus stop at that time in the morning? That's what I want to know.
Well, that's right. I mean, he was on his way home.
Right. Firstly, thanks for coming in early. You should all have read the statement. Beverly's here if you want to ask any questions. Oh, actually, you better tell everyone what you just told me.
Well, it'll be in a further statement later. But apart from saying he'd kill her, he said he'd kill any police officer who came looking for him.
Been watching too much television.
So, that means no going visiting on your own. OK, Andy? You've been on it from the start. Do you want to,
Yeah. We've walked the scene. We've got security tapes, they're being enhanced. Security guard from across the way, name of Baker. Now, he says this is from the description alone, that he knows the guy. He wears a baseball cap. He catches the bus, which ties in with our man at the bus stop. We're doing house-to-house around the scene today. That's it. Oh, prostitutes. They were mentioned, so we'll be speaking to them.
Right. These are our best bet. Massage parlours, street girls. The usual checks are underway. False intelligence, criminal records. We could have a list of possible suspects as early as tomorrow. Oh, Phil, can you run the MO against anything in the index? Any other ideas?
If we go along with Baker, that he was there to catch a bus, maybe he had some sort of night job, kitchen porter or something, and he was on his way home.
Yeah, but he came equipped. Knife, scissors, tape. Unless you can think of a job you need those for.
Look, he could have been going home from work as well as going equipped. Check the drivers, cabs. How did he get home? How did he arrive?
How about how she was taped? About the hands. Difficult to get out. Military.
6 foot, short hair, yeah.
He used a lot of control over Emma. Used to giving orders?
Could be. But from what she said, he could also have been the vagrant type. Dirty nails, grubby. Anyway, keep it all in mind. All your actions are on the board. Exhibits to Spencer. He's also got description forms. Daily 4 o'clock meetings. We work Monday to Friday. And any extra hours, let me know. And things to remember. He's a smoker, but he'll be fit-looking. Slim build. 3/4 length coat, baseball cap. He had a lined face with short grey hair. Trainers, and the puffer jacket he stole from the victim.
If you can help me.
How's that?
It's closed, but wider.
Okay.
Yeah. OK. Well, the E-fit's almost done. We've already got a good full-length sketch. Emma does art, so it helped.
How does this look?
That's right. It's scary. It's him. That's his face.
Uh-huh. No, this scar was on his stomach. His navel to his ribcage. Yeah, sure, I'll hold.
No, you better put in 45 to 55 to be safe. Yeah. Stockings, suspenders, full kit. No, under his jeans.
Who put him up?
A PC from Wandsworth remembers him, says he's got scars on his stomach, dresses up, not full.
This card's a bit old. See if he still looks the same. If he does, we'll spin his address. OK, everyone. Grab a bunch of these for your files and distribute them. Also, it's the 7-day anniversary tomorrow night. I need volunteers.
Well, right from the beginning, really, we knew that it wasn't going to be solved quickly. Forensics had got very little back from the scene. We had no witnesses. So what we realised as a team was that we had to get out there and get some help from the public.
OK, I'll get this one.
The 7-day anniversary was important. There'd be people going through the same routines as the previous Saturday and who may have seen something significant.
Investigating a serious assault that occurred this time last week.
Do you recognise this man at all? Are you regular commuters on this line?
There's a bloke down there in a baseball cap. Do you want to check him out?
There was a chance the attacker himself would return.
Nah, he's too young.
Covert observations of the area where Emma was abducted continued most of that night.
All right. Nothing there at all. All right. Thanks very much. Cheers.
That driver reckons he knows him. Showed him the e-fit. Says, yeah, he normally picks them up round here, drops them off near the Oxford Heath estate. Says he wears a baseball cap and he's always argumentative, picking fights.
OK, listen up. Update on Saturday night. Lots of good information, but no arrests. So, from O'Donnell down, let's hear about him.
O'Donnell's mine. High priority, because we think we've tied him in with the bus catcher that Baker, the security guard, and the bus driver have put forward. Previous for flashing, but no mention of a scar. No photo yet, but the description's good. He's looking better all the time, so we're seeing him tomorrow.
Bauer.
Proprietor of the Morden Beauty Salon called, and we left a poster around there. She now says she remembers the guy from January when he had his regular massage with Fiona, after which he pulled off his towel and demanded to know who was going to sort him out. Apparently everyone knows this place only does massages, no extras, so this was a bit out of order. He'd already given his name, and now we've got an address in Mitcham.
Scar?
Fiona says she doesn't remember.
OK. Kelly?
All potential suspects had to be TIE'd, traced, interviewed and eliminated.
Chris O'Donnell? Yeah? DC Davis, Wimbledon CID. Looking for a man with a scar.
With such a definite identification mark, initial elimination was easy.
I can see you haven't got one, Mr. O'Donnell. Sorry to disturb you. Get back to your digging now.
Mr. Alan Bauer?
That's right.
DC Palmer, DC Phillips, Wimbledon CID. We're investigating a serious offence which took place in Wimbledon.
So why do you want to talk to me?
You were a regular at Morden Health and Beauty?
Jesus Christ. Keep it down.
Well, it's quite simple. The guy we want to see, he's got a scar running from his navel, about 4 inches up to his chest.
Over the next few weeks, the abdomens of dozens of possible suspects were scrutinised.
I haven't got a scar, no.
There were few arrests.
Well, we had a DNA analysis, which was very useful because it meant we could eliminate suspects when they were brought in. But we still didn't really feel that we were getting very far very quickly in the inquiry. So inevitably, it was scaled down to myself and 3 other officers. We continued to TIE the suspects as they came up, but it was rather disappointing when it was scaled down, but to be honest, we had no choice.
There you go. Good.
Then, 5 months after the attack on Emma, something happened which was to reopen the whole inquiry. A telex landed on Jeff Hyam's desk.
D.I. Holmes, is it? Yes, I tried calling you. I found out this morning too.
DS Simon Allen, who'd been investigating a rape attack a few miles away in Clapham, had received the same news. The forensic laboratory had discovered the 2 cases were linked by DNA.
Well, look, I can send you a copy of the file, but the bare bones of it I can give to you now.
That'd be fine.
Well, we'd had a feeling, really, from the beginning that this would turn out not just to be the only offence that he committed. The Wimbledon inquiries were becoming quite sluggish, and this was going to prove to be a turning point for us.
Yeah. It was the 13th of April 1991. Man breaks into ground floor flat, quiet cul-de-sac in Clapham. Occupiers, 3 female students away on holiday. He proceeds to get their clothing out, lays it on the bed, writes on the wall in lipstick. Probably spent all night waiting for them because in the morning the old lady that lived next door arrived to feed the cats. And there he is, armed with a meat fork. He took her upstairs to one of the bedrooms where he raped her.
He wore a balaclava. He didn't bring a weapon, he found one there. His victim was 72. It's against all the rules. We've got 2 completely different MOs here.
But the intended victim could have been one of the young women who lived in the house, sir.
Yeah, OK. He is, we could assume, a burglar. The window pane was removed professionally, and he left with 2 suitcases full of property, jewellery mainly. We've got to look at that. One thing the 2 cases do have in common is the women's clothing angle. He got the clothes out, and he may have tried a few things on. Let's look at that too. Anyway, we're reinvestigating it as of now.
The problem with tracing the property was that the offence in Clapham had been 2 years ago. It had almost certainly all been sold on by now.
£20. You wouldn't find a guy like that at a place like this. They're not drag queens.
You wouldn't call him a transvestite?
No,
cross-dresser?
no, never in the month of Sundays.
As far as the women's clothing was concerned, inquiries among the transvestite community drew a blank.
Yeah, he's just got a fetish for women's underwear.
Well, to be honest, we still didn't really know who we were looking for at all as a person, so we had to look at absolutely everything. One of the things we decided to do was to approach a clinical psychologist to try and give us some idea of the type of person that we were looking for. Although the profile wasn't intended to lead us specifically to a person, it did give us a good insight into how potentially dangerous this man was, particularly when the psychologist said he could very well either have killed already or kill committing his next offence. His comments really were what persuaded me to go towards Crimewatch. I was initially a bit hesitant, really. I remember thinking that it was all very well going to Crimewatch, but if we got a good response, then I just didn't have the resources to start sending people up to Scotland, down to Cornwall, to deal with those inquiries.
It's been a long time.
That's really what we need tonight. We need someone that can put all the pieces together. Not just the description and the e-fit, but the scar, his propensity to wear women's underwear, all these pieces to put together.
Now, the physical description people would know about this man, I mean, he's tall, about 6 foot, isn't he?
He is, yes. He's about 45 to 55. He's got very distinctive, piercing blue eyes, grey hair with bits of brown in it, and he was wearing a long woolen trench coat.
If there's any way that you can help, however unsure you are, however embarrassing it is to speak about, no one else must be allowed to be attacked by this man. Do please call 0500 600 600 here in the studio. The call will cost you nothing. 05...
When was it that he attacked you?
That's right. Well, no, the knife strip was more of an orange colour.
Sorry, you're calling from Scotland?
Yes, but I'm from London. I'm just on holiday at the moment.
And so what do you think it's him?
He's the piercing blue eyes. He's 6 foot tall. He looks like the photo fit, and he's a bit of a perv.
OK, what's his name? OK, yes, I've got that. Thanks. Thanks for the call. Hello, Crimewatch UK.
Well, first of all, obviously we tried to read every single call that came in, but eventually the response was so overwhelming that we just lost it. The night was really quite a buzz for me and the team. The response was fantastic. A lot of the information was duplicated, which was really, really good, and a lot of it very specific. And a lot of the people on the other teams said that they'd been taking phone calls almost entirely about our offence. I remember being told at the time that it was the second biggest Crimewatch response ever.
That's an interesting one. Came across him a couple of years ago.
The weekend was spent reading through the Crimewatch calls and sorting them according to priority. There were more than 600 to collate.
Well, obviously they needed grading. I mean, we had people phoning up and saying things like, it's definitely my ex-husband, he's the spitting image of the e-fit, he's got a scar and he raped me in the past. Or another one saying, I was in prison with someone who was in prison for sex offences, he had an operation and he looks like the e-fit. You know, really categoric information that went immediately to the high priority pile. But obviously all the information was good and it all needed checking out, and it was obvious right from the beginning, really, that our small team that we had left just wasn't going to be able to handle it.
The decision was taken to move the incident room to a bigger office at police headquarters in Croydon. With new officers arriving daily from all over southwest London, the team quickly swelled to nearly 30.
Right, listen up. Hope you've all been briefed. You should know who everyone is. Detective Superintendent Brian Younger has asked me just to bring you up to date. As you can see, everything is being loaded onto Holmes, all the Crimewatch calls, plus the 300 or so actions we've done so far. We now have over 200 suspects, and they all have to be seen. All your actions will be printed out daily. It's Billy, isn't it?
Yes, sir, yeah. Are we partnered up?
You'll have to work it out amongst yourselves who you go with. Just be economical. You can exchange actions if you need to. Just tell the indexers.
OK? That's it. Now, this is organisation for you. For today, Holmes has given me a flasher in Sheffield and a cross-dresser with previous in Reading. Want to swap?
Hello, girls. Have a quick chat. Have a quick chat.
The team divided into two groups.
Don't walk away, girls. Just want to talk to you about something. You're not going to get nicked.
Some continued to follow up on existing lines of inquiry, interviewing prostitutes and checking out the massage parlours.
What we need to do is talk to you about a rape that occurred in Wimbledon.
OK, well, I have to ask you this. Would you mind coming down to the station to give a sample of blood?
Well, if I have to.
Others began to work their way systematically through the names which had been put forward by Crimewatch viewers. All those with a scar and who fitted the description were brought in for blood testing, 50 altogether.
Hello? Yeah, I'm following up the call you made to Crimewatch. How do you know this Frank Daniels?
Like drawing class. Yeah, I understand. Was the model completely shaved? Yes, it could be important. Did you notice if he had a scar?
Yeah, can I have a CRO check, please? Surname Harding, first name John. Yep, I'll hold. He's in there somewhere. Hello? Yeah. Right, I see. Well, can you call me back when he comes in, please? Kenneth John Harding?
Yes?
DC Mocken, this is PC Andrews. We're from 4 Area Amit, based in Croydon. We're investigating a serious offence which occurred in Wimbledon, and we'd like to talk to you about it. Can we come in? So, Ken, what's the,
John?
Sorry, John. What's the setup here? Is this rented?
Sort of. It's housing association. It gets paid. That's not bad. Who did you say said it was me?
I didn't. Look, anyway, as I said, you're only one of 200 suspects we're trying to eliminate. The one we're looking for is scarred around the abdomen. Do you happen to have any scarring?
As a matter of fact, I do. Across my stomach.
Oh, do you mind if we see it?
Not at all.
That's some scar. How'd you get that?
I had a rib removed.
Well, look, the only way to eliminate you now is by you giving us a sample of blood. Is that all right?
What, now?
No, down at the station. We'll have a doctor take it.
Oh, well, I've no objection at all. I would have to check with my elders first, though. You see, I've been studying to become a Jehovah's Witness, and I believe there are rules about the taking of blood. I could come back to you tomorrow.
Yeah, that's okay. So, we'll hear from you tomorrow, then, eh?
Certainly. I should be able to speak with someone this evening.
Great. I think his scar's a bit big. What do you think?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. He's not bad for the E-fit. Maybe we should check him out a bit more when we get back, eh? Yeah. That's fine. OK, thanks.
Right, meeting. Billy, do you want to go first? Tell us about this bloke you've been researching.
Suspect's name was put forward by informant who saw Crimewatch. Local intelligence officer at last known address gave me date of birth and CRO number. Oh, he's moved around a bit, but the present address we got was a sort of housing association place, like a first-time flat for homeless people who've proven themselves. Visited HA today. Suspect was good likeness to E-fit, has a large scar running from navel to armpit, but refused to give blood, citing religious grounds. And I've just got back to find out that his fiche, which was previously unavailable, is now back. It appears that Kenneth John Harding has a previous conviction for rape at knife point.
Mr. Harding, can you open the door, please? It's the police. Okay, Bill.
No one here, Governor.
Who lives in the flat upstairs?
I was told it was empty.
Have a look, there's no one there.
Right, we'll search his stuff. Where's that warrant? What do you reckon?
Baseball cap, but red.
He had a football kit. Likes to keep fit.
You know, I don't think he's done a runner. All his stuff's still there.
Yeah, maybe. We need to plot this up, though. Any volunteers for the first shift?
Well, Harding by this time was obviously our best suspect, but he still wasn't our only good suspect. So we made the decision that all the rest of the team would be on normal duties, TIing the rest, and myself and 4 others would stick solely with Harding. We had to find him and eliminate him. Obviously, he was now high priority.
Yeah, we need to know it all, where he signs on.
Did you send it? It's Alex.
Uh-huh. Which post office?
Yeah, it's for all ports. Right. Yeah, surname Harding. Kenneth John. Date of birth 14/1/44.
That'll be great. We appreciate your help.
What about this guy?
No, that's not him.
Watch was kept at all the places where Harding might be expected to go.
You reckon?
There was no sign of him at any of them. Then a new lead came from the housing association.
Yeah?
It's one of our residents. He says Mr. Harding gets cleaning work through a catering agency, possibly under a false name. Their offices are in City Road.
Yeah, I got that. Yeah, thanks for all your help.
It's from the governor. Come on, we're out of here.
Yes, we know him, but he doesn't call himself Harding. He calls himself Barnes, John Barnes. Doesn't he, Michael?
Been with us about 6 months.
Is he working at the moment?
Yes, I think so. I'll get his card.
He's always very polite when he comes in. A real gentleman.
When did you last see him?
A couple of weeks ago, he comes here for his pay.
Is he due in next?
Oh, Michael will tell
working
you.
at the moment?
He's got all the details.
No, it's just that he was due to come in for his wages.
Sounds very important. What is it, fraud or something?
Well, we can't say as yet.
Yes, I thought so. He's cleaning at a restaurant in Knightsbridge. Been there for 6 months. No complaints. I've just rung them. They said he's been off sick for a few days, due to start again in the morning. Here are the details. Can I ask you to be discreet?
Are we going to have to find a replacement?
Here comes another one. Can you see him, Billy?
No, it's not him.
It's a negative. If he shows, you nick him.
Excuse me.
Stand by. Someone else coming down.
I think it's him. It is, we're on.
It's him! Go! Go!
Remember me, John? Got it?
Right, get him off the street and search him. That car park will do. I'll get a van down here and we'll take him to Chelsea, Nick. Bravo, Charlie, this is D.I. Hyams. We've got a prisoner in Pavilion Road.
Could you just press on that?
I'm sorry. I think I've been as helpful as possible. That's really all I can say.
So what you're saying is, basically, let's go through this again. And when your blood's analysed at our laboratories, it will show you're not responsible for the rapes we're investigating today, correct?
Correct.
And your sample, that would also, when compared...
She's where? Does anyone know where exactly? Jesus.
So we had a problem. We had to get Harding on an ID parade really within 24 hours, charge him or release him. And Emma was away uncontactable in Scotland, so really that sort of made our minds up for us. And as Harding had made no admissions, and we had really no physical evidence from the scene. All we could do was bail him until the blood results came back. It was disappointing, but even so, we still weren't 100% sure that we were looking at our man.
I'll have to check that. Just a minute, hang on. Boss, I've got the agency Harding works for on the phone. Well, they want to know if he can go back to work.
Yeah, OK, tell him he can. Right, everyone, in case you haven't heard, we've had to bail Harding till next month. We've got his passport, and he'll be reporting to Harrow Road Nick daily. Everyone else on normal actions.
Oh, yes. My name's Barnes. I'm ringing from Downview Prison. I understand from my solicitor you're interested in a Mr. Harding. Yeah, well, I may have some information.
I thought he was a friend of yours.
We shared a cell. You know what it's like. I've got 5 years left in his sentence. I thought I could get some remission.
Yeah. Well, he still might be able to help.
Well, it's not uncommon to use an informant in situations like this. I mean, we really needed to know what was going on in Harding's mind. And what we hoped was that Barnes would get close enough to him to tell us. So we got his day release extended, got him bailed to a bail hostel, from where we hoped he could help us.
He wasn't there.
What did you do?
Well, nothing. What am I supposed to do?
Write him a note. Tell him to call you at the hostel. Tell him you want to see him before you go back inside tomorrow. Why don't you get in the car and do it?
It's all right. Done it now.
Well, did he say anything? All right, we'll come down. So I'm going out to Downview, if that's OK. I've had Barnes on the phone. Says he saw Harding this morning, and Harding's talked about our job. Barnes wouldn't say anything else. Wants me to come and see him.
What's he like?
Well, Barnes. Little scrote. There's no love lost between him and Harding, if that's what you mean.
Yeah, OK. But I want to be there too. Get a look at him. See if he's genuine.
So he rings me up early, and we had a bit of a chat, and then we just decided to meet up at 10 o'clock, Paddington Station.
Would you come with me, sir?
Jesus, give me a heart attack.
How's it going? All right?
Yeah, we'll see.
So late out for the morning, huh?
Well, I've got a couple of days off, you know.
Just take a walk, mate.
Yeah. He was glad to see me. I explained that I'd be back that afternoon. He thought I was pretty fresh getting a couple of days out. But I did ask him about the rape.
In trouble? About a rape in Wimbledon?
Yeah. They've taken my blood.
Did you do it? Come on, I'll buy you a pint.
I'm surprised he told me. He's usually pretty quiet about these things. Then he said he needed to get out of the country, but that you'd taken his passport. I said, if he got to Hereford, he could pick up my birth certificate and get a passport in my name.
What's in Hereford?
Well, it's our solicitors. He knows John, so I gave him a letter saying he could have it.
When's he going?
Tomorrow. But first he says he's got to pick up some money that he's owed from his work.
Now there was enough information to re-arrest Harding.
Need a hand?
Oh, hello, John. Thanks.
Aren't you working?
Not today, no. I've got a few days off. I just came in to pick up my wages. I've got about 3 days owing, I think.
Yesterday was payday.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I've been a bit busy.
Well, I can find your car, but you have to wait for your money till Michael gets in. He'll be here soon.
What time did I open?
It's all right, we'll be there on time.
What about Emma?
Beverly rang her. She's back from Scotland and she said she'd be around today.
Jesus.
£64, does that sound right?
Yeah. What time does Michael get in?
Oh, he'll be here soon. Probably him now, though he should have his key with him. Who's this, then?
You didn't expect to see us, did you?
OK, Mr Harding, this way, please. Do you object to any of the persons paraded?
Well, their hair's different.
Chris, can you get the hats, please?
There was nothing I could do. I was sitting there shaking. I couldn't even speak properly. I thought that if he was there, that he would come and get me and somehow he'd be able to break free from the police and come and find me.
I want to make it clear to you, the person you saw may or may not be here. If you cannot make a positive identification, you should say so.
Please indicate the person by calling out his number.
Here she goes.
I'm 6.
She's done it!
It's all over. It's all over.
Well, I was gobsmacked, really. I mean, over the moon. I mean, even when you're pretty sure yourself that he's your man, it's brilliant when the victim actually picks them out. So that was me, straight on the phone to the canteen to tell the rest of the team that we got a positive. Phoned the governor at the incident room, and obviously he was thrilled. I mean, it was over. What I thought was that I'd just walk into the interview room and he'd admit it. But that wasn't going to be.
Yes, I remember the 3rd of April. I've been told it was Grand National Day, the one that was cancelled. So I've been able to work out what I was doing.
Which was what?
I went next door. There was a party going on. I'm not sure what time it was. It was late. It was a birthday party.
What time did you leave?
About 10:30. Don't really know.
What did you do then?
Went off to my room, lay on the bed, watched TV.
Did you see anyone at all later that night?
Not that I remember.
Are you sure about that?
Pretty positive.
Right, you say you were at a party.
Well, I couldn't believe it. I mean, he wasn't having it at all, not even after being picked out so categorically. But obviously you have to go into an interview with some sort of preparation, and I had a plan just in case. And I realised that if I was going to get a confession from Harding, I had to put him gently back at the scene in the Sainsbury's car park. So I changed my approach.
I'm not a psychologist, John. But it seems to me, from what you've told me, and from what I already know, and having spent a lot of time with the girl that picked you out, that when I think of the incident that happened in April last year, and I think of you, it's quite straightforward, really. If we accept, for the moment, that you were there, you've met the girl, all right, we've got to accept that you had sexual intercourse with her against her will. But then after, I know that there's a long period of time that you spent with her. Now, don't get me wrong. What you did was a criminal offence. But I know that there's so much more to it than that.
Well, firstly, you mustn't let the suspect deceive himself into thinking that he's talking to anyone other than a police officer. But at the same time, you've got to try and create an environment where he genuinely wants to talk to you. You've got to create an empathy with him. It's like gently holding hands, really. And I remember the psychologist saying that when the offender, Harding, as we thought, left the scene, he would have felt genuinely that he had some sort of rapport with Emma, and that would be very important to him. So I played on that.
I don't think I'm talking to a man who hasn't suffered personally for what he's done.
I think I'm talking to a bloke who wishes desperately that it had never happened. And that possibly, had you met that young lady in different circumstances, there maybe could have been a relationship. You are not a cold and callous person, John. I mean, you obviously aren't. Otherwise, you wouldn't have taken the time to stay with her for so long afterwards.
It's difficult.
Yeah, I know it's difficult. But it's difficult for her. But what would make it less difficult for her, and it needs explaining, is the fact that you showed her these acts of kindness. You left her cigarettes, John. Who would do that? I think you would. I think John Harding would. The man sitting in front of me at the moment. You see what I mean? The person who is not in a stressful situation. I mean, were you... Let me put it another way. Did you think, when you were talking to her, when you left, did you think that genuinely that she was a nice person? So you thought she was a nice person?
Yes.
Why did you think that?
Because of the things she said to me.
You had quite a long conversation. What drew you to the conclusion that she was a nice person?
She didn't deserve what she got.
Well, when he said yes, it was really, really important. You feel like you've almost got to hide your relief. I mean, I felt for him at that point there was no turning back. I'd got him.
OK, I think we'd better start from the beginning.
It was almost like leading him up to perhaps a walled garden, if you like, which was the scene, the rape scene, with all the knowledge that he had of it. And I was inside, and I was trying, just gently, to get him through the gate, if you like. Not actually to talk immediately about the rape itself, but he had to put himself there. He had to, if you like, transpose himself back in time, come through the gate, back into that scene, and then we could start talking.
So you got none of the clothing left? What about the underwear?
No, it's all gone.
Over the next 2 hours, Harding gave a detailed confession to both the Wimbledon and the Clapham rape. 2 weeks later, the lab results on Harding's blood came through, confirming what Emma and the officers already knew. Kenneth John Harding has since confessed to other rapes and sexual assaults, some going back many years.
We suspect that there may be other offences that he's committed that he hasn't yet admitted to us. So one of the reasons for taking part in this programme, really, is to appeal for those other possible victims that are out there to come forward. They may possibly have been too scared of him in the past, but they can all rest assured now. I mean, he's firmly behind bars.
It's like every day I sort of forget about it a little bit more. Life is a lot more of a challenge now. I think of every single day as a whole day and try and get through that day without anything happening to me. I'm only 20 years old, I've got a long time ahead of me, and this person has been locked away, and he can't touch me now.